Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Opinion Machine, a show where we talk about all things gaming. My name is Killjoy, and today I want to talk about Torchlight 3. And you might be thinking, well, hang on, didn't you do this a few years ago? I certainly did. When the game came out, I did a whole video on it, and I talked about what I liked about it, and I talked about what was an issue with it. But recently, I've been wanting to play it again, and I've been playing it again, both with Jack and Dave, and also my brother. And I'm kind of here to talk about the game now versus back then, because it did get patches, it did get updates, and if it is actually a good game or not. All in all, the game is better than it was when I originally played it in 2020. Like, that's flat out, that's just the truth. The game is better. How much better is going to depend on what you expect from your action RPGs that you play and other action RPGs that are going on at the same time. For me personally, I think this game is still very fun. I think it's a very solid game, and it's had some of its issues looked at and dealt with, and it's better, right? As simple as that. But that doesn't mean that it's all hunky-dory and perfect, because it isn't. So, let's go through some things that are very obvious and have been changed about the game. Firstly, they added in at some point the ability to send your pet to town to buy you potions, which was something you could do in the second game. You can only buy 5 at a time, I believe, or 5 of each type. But this was huge, because this is one of the all action RPGs that give you a pet should, if you're going to use the pet system, you should be able to send your pet back to town to buy you potions. And I think that was a really, really good staple of the second game, and seeing that improved and added into this game is awesome. So that is definitely a point in favour of the game being better. That is objectively better, that you can now have that functionality in there to send your pet back to town while you're out in the field to get your health potions, poison potions, all that good stuff. Awesome. But on the flip side of that, we still, even playing it, we are still having some netcode issues and issues with the missions. So netcode wise, for example, I could be watching my brother who's playing as the rail master. His actual avatar stood there, but the train tracks are moving off. So I'm like, oh wait, he's actually moving, he's actually fighting, and it takes the game a few seconds, or even up to 5-6 seconds, so to go, oh yeah, hello, he's here, he's fighting these mobs. So that happens a lot. There's also this weird spawning thing happening. Like, if I run through an area that somebody else has killed all the monsters all get up and die a second time. There's gold all over the place, things popping out left, right, and centre. There's definitely issues with the netcode. Is it better? It's hard to say. I think it is. But it's still not really where it needs to be, and it's not likely this game's going to get any upgrades at all going forward. But at least right now, it seems to be that's the biggest problem, is this kind of like slightly buggy netcode. With issues with the missions, we've only come across one. One was my brother's fault. Two was one was my brother's fault, and the one was actually the issue with the game. So that there is still issues playing this multiplayer with missions not correctly spawning, which is a problem. There's no two ways about it. It's a problem. It's one of the worst problems this game had. It still seems to have it. It's only happened once, and we're now onto the second area. So it's been a lot better, and we've been aware of it. But obviously, like, that's a huge thing to be aware of, right? So we've got that happening. That's not good. Are there any other improvements in the game? Well, it seems like there are. There's an extra class in the game which is really, really fun, which is the Dread Pirate I'm playing. With that adds new gameplay. And the actual gameplay itself seems to still be just as fun as I remember it. The only one thing that hasn't changed is the inventory system is still crap. It still isn't that big. You can't carry that much stuff. Forever picking up rubbish items. So there's a lot of things. There are good improvements in this game, but there are still things where I'm like, Jesus, I wish these things were better. But there you go. It's not. It's just one of those things. The game's not going to get updated. Sorry. We need a sequel to come along, like an actual proper sequel to this to fix those issues. But, the classes in this game are still some of the most interesting fun I've ever seen in an action RPG. And I think that the Railmaster, the Dread Pirate, and the Robot Guy pretty much sum up why I think they're really, really fun. Dread Pirate's a lot of fun. You summon your crew, they fight for you. You can summon a massive ghost ship that fires out cannons. Like, honestly, you can't fault the game for certain things. The Legendarian item thing works really well. The classes are fun. You get cool upgrades the more points you put into them. I think a lot of people are still going to be quite hard on this game, and I think that might be somewhat unfair. Like, as a single player game, this game's fine. There's absolutely you're unlikely going to come across any of these issues because you're playing in your own world. I think it's only really the multiplayer, which most people will play these games in, that's where the problems lie with the netcode and issues with the missions. You know, the game still looks decent. The game's it's got mostly clarity. It's still a bit manic when you've got like 3 of you playing on screen. But all in all, going back to it, replaying it now, I am having fun with it. I think the game is good. I don't think the game is great. I don't think the game will ever be great, but I think it's good. I think this is a 6 or a 7 out of 10. This is a above average to good game. And I think anyone saying otherwise is being harsh on it. Right? There are other action RPGs that are very similar to this that are just as good, if not a little bit better. But what this game does well is combat, is interesting boss fights, like the main boss fights, interesting classes, fun skills, tons of items, like a cool legendary system. It's got the pet system. The pet system's better now. You know, the thing that lets this game down is the inventory and the netcode, and they are still things that all the inventory had to do. If they wanted to improve it, they just had to double the amount of space you could carry, and that would have been good enough. Double the space that the pet can carry, double the space that you can carry, and that would have been good enough. And that would have solved most of the issues. As for the netcode, well, simple updates would have fixed that, but there we go. You know, this video is just here to say, look, if you were still looking for an action RPG to play, whether it be on console or PC, this game is still fun. This game goes on sale a lot of time. It's about 10 quid when it goes on sale. It's absolutely worth the price of that. I know that myself and Fruity and Jack, I'm definitely more positive on this than they are. I think they're a little bit harsh. I get, like, for example, you can't trade items. That is definitely a big problem. But I don't really care because, like, you get so many items. You're constantly, like, equipping new stuff. I get it. For a lot of people, that is going to be a deal breaker. For me, I don't care. I'm like, whatever. I don't want your items anyway. But I do think they can be slightly harsh on this game. But they're not wrong in saying that the netcode is probably the biggest issue, right? And the missions breaking is a big issue. Because they are big issues, and you need to know that going in. However, playing it as a single player game, you're probably going to avoid most of this stuff, and it is definitely worth playing. You know, but obviously a big part of these games is playing multiplayer, so I get it. But there you go. It's not a long video. It's just I wanted to get some updated thoughts out. I wanted to say, look, this game is objectively better than it was. Some minor things have been fixed. There are obviously improvements. Things have been patched. All the good stuff. It is a better game. And it goes on sale pretty often. So if you're looking for a fun action RPG to play, primarily on your own, but if you do want to play it in multiplayer, it does work. You just have to be aware of there are still issues with it. Then this is a game to check out. So there you go. Shorter video today, guys. Thank you very much for watching. As always, if you like this video, hit the like button. If you want to see more content, hit subscribe. Links for Facebook and Twitter will be down below in the description, as always. And until next video, I will see you then.